This is The Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government and Professor Mutahi Ngunyi. This Sunday, we will repeat a Bible story to Raila Odinga because he did not go to Sunday school. Once upon a time, two prostitutes were housemates. Then they got pregnant and gave birth at the same time. But as they slept, one of the prostitutes lay on her baby and killed him. Then she quickly switched him with the living one, as the mother of the living one slept. In the morning, the two had a fight. They each claimed that the living baby was theirs. And to resolve the fight, they went to King Solomon. When Solomon listened to their stories, he ordered that the living baby be split into two. This way, each mother would take half a baby. But on hearing Solomon's verdict, the real mother screamed in horror as the evil prostitute laughed with joy. With this reaction, Solomon knew who the real mother was. In this election, we have an evil mother. He will split the country if he does not win. What is his name, I ask?
Now we will tell you what the results of the Tuesday elections will look like. This is not an announcement, it is a simulation, and we have three simulations to make. The first is a statistical simulation. It tells us that Uhuru will win for two reasons. One, incumbent presidents in Africa do not lose elections unless they are incompetent. And last time we checked, Uhuru is many things but incompetent. A man who was framed by ICC and came back intact is a man with street credibility. This man has a high gangster index. If he fought ICC fairly and won, he can fight Raila fairly and win. 2. The Gamma Nation countrywide is 5.6 million votes. Fact. The Kalenjin Nation is close to 2.3 million votes. Fact. Together, Uhuru's starting point is 7.9 million votes. Fact. On his part, the entire Luo Nation, Kamba Nation and Luya Nation countrywide adds up to 6.9 million votes. And this is Raila's starting point. Fact. If Uhuru is in power and controls 7.9 million votes, and Raila is in opposition controlling 6.9 million votes, who is ahead? Mine is just a simple statistical question.
This is the second election result we will offer. Uhuru will not win, Raila will lose. And this is how Uhuru gets a second term. Let me break this down. Is a zero-sum game okay? Is a game in which the winner takes it all acceptable? A game in which, if Uhuru wins, NASA is left in the cold dungeons of politics for 5 years? 0. If Uhuru wins, a coalition government will be inevitable. Raila will try to force one. But if Uhuru has a high gangster index, he will try to trick him using Kalonzo. If Raila is sworn in using Bush methods, Kalonzo will refuse to be sworn in as Raila's Bush deputy. And this is where the drama will begin. Uhuru will negotiate with Kalonzo directly. Then he will make him Prime Minister. Offers to Mudavadi and Wetangula will be made directly. And if this happens, Raila will be history. Finito.
Now we will shoot straight. Ordinary Kenyans are running away from urban centers. They are scared of violence. Yet we have had 10 years to fix this scare, and we have failed to do so. 10 years after we fought, someone should have fixed this scare, but we did not fix it. The question is, why? When we voted for Uhuru, he was a wounded man. He walked with a limp. For half his presidency, Uhuru limped under the heavy yoke of ICC. And the ICC yoke was only removed 23 months ago. In the meantime, William Ruto was only released from the ICC yoke 14 months ago. For 3/4 of his term as deputy president, Ruto too walked with a limp. And once the two were released from bondage, they told us that Raila was the man behind the 2007 violence. And to get out of it, he framed the two of them. Now we will ask a question. What price did Raila pay, or not pay, for the 2007 violence? Is he the constant factor in the violence equation from 2007 to date? And is Uhuru setting him up for the final price in this election? I have absolutely no idea.
This election is about the tyranny of lies. Raila intends to win by fabricating lies. And if a man can lie without blinking, he is capable of doing greater evil to get what he wants. And this week alone, he gave us a series of lies. For starters, ODM suggested that the military spokesman was dead. Then this military man called Colonel J.M. Wood popped up alive. It was a big fat lie after a whole press conference declaring that he was missing and suggesting that he was dead. Then NASA claimed that their tallying center had been raided by the police. But hours later, the media confirmed that this was another big fat lie. It never happened. If NASA has lied on the attack of their tallying center and lied that Wood had died or somehow suggesting he had died, how many more lies have they told us? If the intention is to raise tension through tyranny of lies, we must ask them a number of questions. Number one, did they kill Musando of IEBC? They have accused government of killing Musando, but we must ask them if it is possible that they actually did it in order to raise the tensions that they have raised. Similarly, did they kill Gaiseri? And I ask that question because the death of Gaiseri marks the beginning of rising tensions in the country. And after his death, we have heard drama every single Friday. Is this a coincidence? I beg.
The third and final result is that there will be no results. We will have a stalemate. A runoff, for instance, is not a result. It does not bring closure to the competition. In fact, it will only prolong our election fatigue by another 4 months until November 14th. But this does not worry us. What is worrying is a situation where Raila decides to take power by force. Consider how this will play out. If Raila loses, his tallying center will announce his victory. And he has already told us that they will announce it at 10 million strong. Should this happen, Raila will swear himself in as president the Ivory Coast way. And since he has told us that he has support from sections of the military, we have no idea how this will play out. However, we do have an idea how Uhuru will respond. If Raila swears himself in, this will be a declaration of war. And if indeed Uhuru and Ruto have a high gangster index, they will not be bullied. They will respond appropriately. But in the meantime, because Kalonzo and Mudavadi are cowards, they will abandon Raila should things degenerate.
And now our final thought. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta used to tell us, wanaume ni kuonana. In other words, to be a man is to man up. And to man up is to face your opponent eyeball to eyeball. We must repeat this instruction by Mzee to Uhuru Kenyatta. Mr. President Sir, Raila is a bully. And you have no choice but to stand up to this bully. You cannot allow him to bully you out of power through the tyranny of lies. Like Napoleon in Animal Farm, sir, Raila has peed on all your plans with Madharau. And if he wins, he will take your plans, dry them up, and implement them as his own. Sir, it would be a tragedy if Raila took the presidency by force. You must stop this trajectory. But there is one more thing, sir. If re-elected, you must unite the country. And the only way to do so is to co-opt Kalonzo as Prime Minister and give the 2 deputies to Mudavadi and Wetangula. To quote President L.B. Johnson, it is better to have these people in the tent pissing out than to have them outside the tent pissing in.